What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the Talking Sports podcast right here on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. As always, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use code TSP for 100% deposit match up to $100 on UnderdogFantasy.com. Link is in the description. And as always, follow us on social media at Talking Sports PD on X and on Instagram. You can see our NBA playoff picks. You can see all our recent posts, all our recent draft interviews on social media, so check that out. Link is in the description. We have a special guest tonight. If you followed me when I did Bills content for Built in Buffalo, the Buffalo Blitz, Lance was my co-host for maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years. We'll say a year and a half to 2 years. I no longer do that. I do this for most of the time. But Lance, welcome back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's nice to get back in the saddle with you, brother. Always had fun with that show. So this is going to be another fun one.
Yeah, and it's NFL draft time, and you guys know this. We've done a couple interviews. If you guys have not checked that out, you guys killed it on the Carrier Pleasant Johnson episode. That's over 6,000 views right now, so I really appreciate that. Anton Popov and Jameer Augustine have just dropped on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so you guys have not checked that out, please do. But you guys have been killing it on those draft videos and on social media. I really, really, really appreciate it. But we're going to do our annual kind of mock draft episode. So I got the PFF simulator up here. You guys will see this on social media. When we do this, obviously we'll put this mock draft out as our official final mock draft on Thursday, right before the draft. But I love this episode. It's such a fun time of the year. Lance, before we do that, I forgot to say this. Plug any social medias, any Built in Buffalo social medias that you want, and I can drop them in the description before we lose track of time and get started on this.
Yeah, at Built in Buffalo _ is the X handle. You can search Built in Buffalo on any other social media, Facebook, over 150,000 followers there, IG, X, Threads, wherever you consume social media, we're there. YouTube, head over to the YouTube page, search Built in Buffalo, and give us a follow there. And yeah, if you can subscribe to that YouTube, it'll be great. My handle is at Lance Nelson BIB on most social medias, so definitely X and IG. I'm not a huge IG user, but I'm trying to get more into it because that's what the kids are doing these days.
It is, and you guys can obviously see his handle on the screen. Yeah, check out Built in Buffalo for all Buffalo Bills stuff. I worked for them for about 2.5 years, and they're great. Great content. If you're a Bills fan, even if you're not a Bills fan, great NFL content in general. So check them out. All that stuff will be, like Lance said, will be in the description. But let's get started here. I'm cheap, so I only pay for StreamYard for an hour, so we got to get rolling here. So if you guys are new to the program, we've done this for maybe the last 3 years, I want to say. So basically, I'm going to start the mock draft. Lance is going to get the first pick. He's going to be the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to get the second pick. I'll be the Cleveland Browns. Lance will get the third. I'll get the fourth. You kind of get the gist. And we're the GMs of each of these teams. And it's kind of, Lance, we're kind of doing it like maybe not how we would do it, kind of like it's a combination of what we would do with a combination of what we think is going to happen. So the floor is yours. You guys, if you're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, sucks for you, go on YouTube, please, and subscribe, and you can see this visually. But Lance, you have the first pick here. What are we doing here with the Tennessee Titans on the clock?
I think the consensus is here it's going to be QB Cam Ward out of the Miami Hurricanes program. So I'm going to take Cam Ward, quarterback, University of Miami, for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I agree. Look, Lance, I think this is one of the years where we don't know a ton of picks. Like, I think a lot of years you and I can go rip through 1 to 10 and we probably can get 7 or 8 right. And I just feel like that this is the year it's not. It's usually because of quarterbacks. We kind of know what quarterbacks are going to go. This year it's one quarterback, and then I think it's a crapshoot. So,
and a lot of that is there's not a lot of trades yet, but I think there's going to be maybe
correct.
More first round draft day trades that are going to shake this thing up a bunch. We're not going to get into that here, but that's something I think is going to happen.
Yeah, this mock draft might be, you can just throw it in the trash by the time like 8:15 rolls around Thursday night, because I agree. I think it's gonna be a crapshoot because expect the unexpected with this type of draft. So,
and that's going to be like some of the picks too are going to be like, okay, well, I think this guy's going to go third, but I don't necessarily know if he's going to go to the Giants.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Cleveland Browns are up. So look, I think people have talked about quarterback maybe like 2 months ago. I think that conversation has completely kind of dried out in the sense that Cam Ward doesn't get to them. Cam Ward goes one to the Titans. I think they take who they think probably is the best player in this draft. I don't think they go Abdul Carter. I think they take Travis Hunter. They talked about playing him at corner. They talked about playing him at receiver. We'll see what they do with him, but I like the Browns taking Travis Hunter at 2. Lance, you and the Giants, what do you got here?
Yeah, this is the scenario I talked about exactly. Is Abdul Carter is going to go third. I don't know that the Giants are going to make that pick, um, but I just don't believe the Giants are going to go quarterback with the guys they signed: Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson. I think that they stay. I think next year there's a guy named Manning coming out, and others like that. So I think they're going to maybe try their hand at a rookie next year versus this year, given the guys they signed. That's just my opinion. They're not going to pass up on Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I think consensus is Hunter and Abdul Carter are probably the 2 best players in this draft. You can rank them 1 or 2. But now the fun, I think, kind of begins a little more. Lance, Patriots are 4 here. We kind of remember as Bills fans, they beat us in week 18 with our backups on the field, which kind of screwed them out of getting a chance potentially to get either Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. Because I think if one of those 2 guys got here at 4, they would be running up with that pick. They miss out on both Hunter or Abdul Carter. They got to go with kind of a need. I think they go offensive line here. And I know people have kind of backed. I got to go find this guy. People kind of been a little weird about Will Campbell with his arm length. I don't really think that's a big concern for me. So I think the Patriots miss out on the top 2 guys, but they get probably arguably the best tackle in the draft. I'm not going to sit here like I know a lot about offensive tackles here, but I'm going to go Abdul Carter 4 to the Patriots.
Will Campbell.
What did I say? Abdul Carter? They won Abdul Carter. Will Campbell 4 to the Patriots.
Right on. Yeah, this is a tough one here. At 5 now, we're Jaguars.
Did you see that report today that said someone, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN talked about Genty to the Jaguars at 5. We're recording on Saturday, April 19th, but he talked about that. Jaguars and Genty. I don't know. It could just be smoking. I don't know why would there be smoke with a running back, but that's what people were talking about.
Their need is defensive line help, and Mason Graham's really good. He's been mocked to them a ton, and I think I'm going to follow suit with Mason Graham out of Michigan.
Oh, man, how good would Mason Graham be on the Bills? He would be.
Yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah, that's the thing about being a good team with the Bills. You just aren't going to get the ability to get these guys. Now, I don't know how high you think we can get from the the Bills' perspective. How high you think they can actually get in this draft? I'm thinking high teens is probably their limit on what they want to spend for assets. A lot of things. There was another trade mock that they got up to 19 with the Bucks, and I feel like that I was kind of in the low 20s before that, seeing that. But if they can get to 19, that would be great. In that scenario, we'll talk about who they took later on here once we get to our pick.
Yeah, I think most teams it's tough to get into that top 10 without giving up serious capital, and it's usually only done for quarterbacks, not a D tackle, even though I would love Mason Graham on the Bills. Raiders at 6. They've been mocked with the quarterback at times, and that quarterback would probably be Shedeur Sanders. We've only taken one quarterback, and that's Cam Ward here. But their GM recently kind of talked about the running back position. Pete Carroll's talked about the running back position, and it's been mocked a couple times. I think they do the first splash kind of draft selection, and I think at 6, it might be a little too early for a running back, in my opinion, just how I view the position. But I think they take Ashton Genty from Boise State at 6.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't. I mean, if Jaguars wanted to go running back too, they could definitely hit that up. If Patriots wanted to go running back, they could do that, and it would be a nightmare for the Bills in both scenarios, really having to play that guy in conference or division with the Patriots. So here's a division opponent for the Bills in the New York Jets, and I think as much as they might want to go offensive weapon here, they desperately are going to need some offensive line help here. And Armand Membo from Missouri there is going to be my pick for the Jets here.
Yeah, well, like last year, Lance, they passed on Brock Bowers to take Fashawu from Penn State, and look, they might be passing on another tight end in Tyler Warren, who kind of warrants this kind of pick here. But No, I like it. I think it's the smart move. The Jets haven't always done the smart move. I think it's a smart move taken. It's boring. Sometimes you want to be boring and take an offensive tackle at 7. So the Jets take Armin Membu at 7 from Missouri. Panthers are on the clock for me. I thought about receiver in Tet McMillan from Arizona, but I think he keeps sliding down this draft a little. I think they go defense. I thought about tight end when I was kind of mapping this out. But I'm going to go defense. And where is this guy at? What position? He's not an edge. He's a linebacker. Come on. Nope. Where is he? Jalen Walker. I think Jalen Walker goes 8 to the Panthers. I know PFF has him ranked 24. That's kind of criminal in my opinion. I think Jalen Walker's a consensus top 10 player in this draft. I like Jalen Walker at 8 to the Panthers. I think they get a real kind of game changer in the linebacker outside position there.
Yeah, if the board falls like this, then I think I like the Saints to take McMillan here. I
Interesting.
I may I'm teetering on the quarterback. I don't think they're going to take a quarterback here, but I like McMillan here for the Saints.
Love it. Love it. I think, look, me taking Jalen Walker at 8 doesn't. I think it's a good pick. Doesn't spice up this draft board, right? Like our first top 8 picks don't spice it up. You go in McMillan, either if that's right or wrong, spices up this draft a little here, Lance, because we have a quarterback named Shedeur Sanders that not a lot of teams need potentially, and he's going to keep sliding down. So people watching right now are now going to be wondering where do we have Shedeur Sanders going? So
What I like about that too is if he does fall through here, and then we'll see where he ends up. But that's another quarterback now that's saved for the late 20s potentially. People are going to maybe now start trading up into
yes,
the end of the first round for some quarterbacks.
Giants.
So if Sanders falls further, then guys like Dart might fall as well, and then we'll see how that plays out towards the end of the first round. And it matters for a team like the Bills because that may be something we talk about later on here.
Sanders falls all the way to 29. Giants, Joe Shane knows Brandon Bean just a little bit, right? And maybe sends the Bills a little bit of a package to go get Shedeur Sanders. I think no one would be opposed to that. Okay, to round out the top 10, Chicago Bears. Lance, if Genty didn't go 6 to the Raiders, this is where I think Genty would go. I think this is where he would go at 10. People have talked about Hampton from UNC at 10. I think this is too early to take him. I think you can get the same talent in the second round, in my opinion. So they could use D-line. I know we see Walter Nolan might be a little too high. We see running back. We see safety. Malachi Starks is a stud. I don't know if he goes 10. I think they go weapon, and I think they add to their weaponry here, and I think they take Tyler Warren, excuse me, from Penn State, and the third weapon technically goes off the board. To recap the top 10 here, we have Cam Ward 1, Travis Hunter 2, Abdul Carter 3, Will Campbell 4, Mason Graham 5, Ashton Genty 6, Armin Membu 7, Jalen Walker 8, Tet McMillan 9, and Tyler Warren 10. Do you like the Tyler Warren pick or 10, or is that more a little bit of a unique pick there?
I like it. I think you got to give it. They already have pretty good wide receivers as it is, so giving their young guy a little bit more firepower there, I don't hate
Keenan
that.
Allen's getting older too, right? I think he's kind of on his way out and need another weapon. So I think that's Genty's like floor. I think that's where he would go if he didn't go to the Raiders. What do you got 11 for the 49ers here, Lance?
Yeah, you can see their needs there. I don't see a lot of guys that warrant on the offensive line this thing.
Okay.
And I like what I've seen from some other mock drafts here. Jahdae Barron from Texas, the cornerback, with
Yeah.
Tarvarius Ward departing in free agency. I think Barron's a good pick at this spot.
Someone I kind of like the Bills to have early in the draft process before his I love when you do that. Like you talk about it like February, right? Right after the Super Bowl. You talk about guys you want, and then their stock just completely goes the wrong way and what you want to happen there. Jahdae Barron, he's gonna be a stud. So
Yeah, if they take D line there, that'd be great though. If they, as much as we want, maybe Walter Nolan or whomever else, if
yeah,
they take a D lineman there and that cornerback falls, and that pushes Will Johnson down too. So then it would really be able to help the Bills case and getting one of the top corners potentially in a trade up.
Cowboys at 12 here. Genty could be the pick here too if he got there. I also think Tet McMillan would be the pick here. I think this is where he could go at 12 to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys kind of bolster that defensive line. Micah Parsons needs a contract extension. Don't know if they want to give it to him. I'm gonna go Shamar Stewart out
Nice.
of Texas A&M. I know he's ranked 33 on the PFF board, but PFF, get your shit together, I guess. I don't know. He's too talented. I thought about him or Mike Green. Mike Green has a little bit of off the field issues, but the Cowboys have no issues drafting those type of guys, so they could have taken him. But I like Shamar Stewart, 12 out of A&M to bolster that defensive line.
Right on.
But you got another divisional team here. You had the Jets. I had the Patriots and I got Will Campbell. You had the Jets. And I get the Dolphins. So you get all the division opponents here, Lance.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Calvin Banks Jr. from Texas, tackle
Interesting.
for them. I just think that they have some guys. They got all the speed they need, but they definitely need the protection there for Tua and whomever may be beyond him. So
I like it. And so you didn't go, what's his name? Josh Simmons from Ohio State. You went Kelvin Banks before him. Like the pick.
yeah, I think the injury,
With
injury
Simmons. Yeah.
for Josh Simmons is definitely a concern there. So yeah, a little bit too early for him, in my opinion.
14, the Colts. I would say this is where Tyler Warren's floor is, in my opinion. It's 14 with the Colts. I already had him going 10 to the Chicago Bears. I don't think there's a guard you can take here. An edge, maybe Mike Green. I'm between a couple guys. I think they go safety here, Lance. I think they bolster the safety room. I think they can go Mike Green. They can go Jahad Campbell. I think Malachi Starks is too freaking good. Like, he is too good of a safety. I think they go Malachi Starks at 14. So the Colts get Starks out of Georgia at 14. Someone I would like the Bills to take at 30 if he was on the board.
Right on, right on. Falcons on the clock here. Hard for me to see guy like Matthew Golden dropping further down than this, but if they do go defense, I do like James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee a little bit more than most, maybe.
A little bit off the field concerns and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And Mike Green sitting right there as well from Marshall.
Will Johnson is still.
But overall, I think this might be where Matthew Golden ends up with Atlanta.
So we got our second receiver off the board. We had McMillan going number 9 to the Saints. Lance took him. So Lance is taking the only two receivers. And we have Matthew Golden 15 to the Falcons. You know what, Lance? They have Michael Penix, right? The rookie quarterback. They have Bijan Robinson. You have Drake London. Why not add another weapon and get Matthew Golden? I think that's a really good selection. 16 with the Cardinals. I'm between two guys here. Don't think there's a guard that can warrant a pick here. I think I'm between Walter Nolan and I'm between Will Johnson at corner. I'm going to go Walter Nolan. I'm going to add to the defensive line. I'm going to be boring, and I think Walter Nolan is one of the better D lines in this class. So I got Walter Nolan at 16 to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, and I think that the Bengals here at 17 would have liked to see that guy fall to them, but didn't. So with that, I think they rip Kenneth Grant pretty quick there at 17.
Let's go find our boy Kenneth Grant. So the guy that we like the Bills to take is off the board. 18 Seattle's weird, Lance. They want a center. They need a guard. I don't think there's a guy you can really take here.
No.
Tyler Booker's the only guy, and I'm not taking him at 18. I'm going to go edge. So let's get to this edge room here. I'm going to click linebacker just in case they shove some guys there. They didn't shove. You know how they sometimes shove guys in the linebacker room. Let's go edge. I don't need both. I just want edge. This stupid thing. Okay, let's go edge. So you got Mike Green. You got the kid from BC. I know you like James Pierce. I think Mike Green is the pick here. I think he's fallen a little in our thing. We also have Mykel Williams there. That is pretty good. Screw it. You know what? Mike Green's staying on the board. I'm going to go Mykel Williams. I think he's that good. So I think his stock is fallen. His stock's been really weird. I see him like in the top 10. I see him at 25. I like him 18 to Seattle. Forgot he was on the board. So Mykel Williams out of Georgia to Seattle.
There you go. Makes my pick very easy. I'm going to take James Pierce Jr. at 19 to the Bucks because he's, I know Mike Green's sitting there, and I'm going to be honest. I'm not a I'm not sure, a small school guy can make me eat my words.
Mhm.
6'4", 248 for Mike Green. Pierce just gives you more of, playing against those guys. 6'5", 243. Um, Give me James Pierce Jr. for the Bucks there at 19.
A couple guys that are on the board that shock me. Maybe Jahad Campbell, but he's a linebacker, so he kind of can fluctuate. But my opinion, Will Johnson still being on the board, Lance, and then some guy named Shador Sanders still being on the board. But you and I alluded to this in the beginning when you passed on him at when did you pass? When you passed him at 9, the Saints, right? I passed him with
Mhm.
the Raiders. You passed him up with him at 9 with the Saints. Bears don't need a quarterback. 49ers don't need a quarterback. Cowboys, Dolphins don't. Colts, you could argue the Colts could use a quarterback, but I don't know if they probably might give Anthony Richardson another year. Falcons have a rookie quarterback. Cardinals have a quarterback. Bengals and the Seahawks just signed Sam Darnold. They could take a quarterback. They probably don't want to after that big deal. And Buccaneers have Baker, right? There's no other team that really need a quarterback. So his slide's going to continue. And it's going to continue here in the 20 because we saw the Broncos in the playoffs, and Bo Nix is a hell of a quarterback, even though it wasn't one of his better games outside of the first drive. I think this is where the third receiver goes off the board. I think it's Emeka Ibuka. I do. I think they need a receiver. I think they need another weapon. Cortland Sutton's free agency is coming up very soon. Let's go get another weapon for our for our young quarterback. Let's get Emeka Ibuka out of Ohio State to 20.
Love it. Breaks my heart because if he fell to 30, I would love that pick
Mm-hmm.
or my beloved Buffalo Bills.
Yes,
But
you would.
yeah. And then here's where I'm going to take Sanders at
Love it.
21 with
Love it.
Pittsburgh.
Shador Sanders. Lance, if we think about this, right? If no one made a trade up, let's say no one traded up in this draft, we're not doing that. I don't think that's realistic. If he didn't go 21, he's not going to the Chargers. He's not going to the Packers. He's not going to the Vikings. He's not going to the Texans. The Rams actually would be very interesting because Matthew Stafford's kind of at the end of his career. They wanted to take him. Not going Ravens, not going Lions, Commanders, we know, Bills, Chiefs, and Eagles. It's really just the Rams or some team trading up if he fell past 21. So that's an interesting kind of thing just to look at for people if they wanted to. Shador Sanders goes 21 to the Steelers. Chargers, they need a weapon. They really do. Is it too early for Luther Burden? It
No, I think
might
so.
be. It might be. It might be not. But they would take a Buka. I think Luther Burden is slipping in these drafts for no apparent reason. I think they add a weapon. They need weapons outside of Lad McConkey with Justin Herbert. Go get me Luther Burden 22 to the Chargers.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta have Jihad Campbell come off the board here. It just did
Got it.
fall a little bit, but I think it's too far for the Green Bay Packers to pass up on him.
And similar to kind of how you made that pick, Will Johnson. Vikings need a DB here. He's had some injury concerns, but his on-field play kind of speaks for himself. He's been terrific when he's healthy in college. I think if you're here at 24 and the Bills want a corner, maybe give the Vikings a call if you want Will Johnson, if that's their guy. But I think Will Johnson doesn't fall any farther than this. I think he goes 24 to the Vikings.
Very nice. And yeah, this is interesting pick here for Houston. I got to go Josh Simmons out of Ohio
Perfect.
State for them here. I think this is a perfect spot for him to land and right about where the value's there as well.
I think if the Texans didn't take Josh Simmons here, I was about to take Josh Simmons with the Rams there. This is an interesting pick. People have thrown linebacker at them. Jihad Campbell kind of comes off the board. Don't really see another linebacker that warrants picking 26, in my opinion. They don't need edge help. They have a great edge. They could go corner. Let me look at the corner board right now. They do need corner help. Trey Amos, Benjamin Morris, Maxwell Harrison. They also need O-lineman help. I think they sit off on the O-lineman in this pick. I think they go Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky. I think if Simmons was there at 26, they would have taken Simmons. I don't know if they take Cornerly from Oregon. I think they take cornerback Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky.
Yeah, Harrison's the guy I kind of want for the Bills
Really?
if they're going to do corner at 30 or if they move down or whatever. But I think Harrison's one of, because of his speed and everything, I think he's one of the most intriguing prospects that the Bills could bring in and maybe one of the better fits. So that's a good pick in my opinion.
27 in the Ravens.
27 here. So the Ravens, they're probably running up with Mike Green here,
Probably.
or Donovan. I'm not going to try to say that. But
Donovan
Boston College.
as a rookie, Rugu.
Yeah, looks like
Sure.
Ruaku, but Aziro Ruaku. I'm gonna go Mike Green. We've kind of pushed him down a little bit because he played at Marshall, maybe, or
Yeah.
whatnot. But I think you have to get him off the board here with a team needing an edge.
Someone that's also fallen is Colston Loveland from Michigan in our thing. I think the Rams could be in play at 26, Lance, for Colston Loveland. For the Lions, let's get some edge rushing help here. I'm looking around the edge. They could go Nick Scorton. They could go an O lineman. They could go a guard. They could go Tower Booker here. They could. I don't think though. I think they go edge. I'm gonna look at the edge room before I make my selection. Landon Jackson, probably not. Let's go. Whatever you say his last name, Donovan from Boston College, 28 to the Lions.
There you go.
Commanders time.
It's going to be a run here on edges because I'm going to take another edge off the board here with Nick Scarton out of Texas A&M to the Washington Commanders.
Okay. So I know we're not a Bills podcast. We talk about all sports here, talk about all NFL teams, but we're both Bills fans. So when Jared did this with us, we broke down the Jets pick, right? A little more than we did with the other picks. Lance is a Bills fan. I'm a Bills fan. So the Bills have a couple needs here, right? Like we talked about receiver. They could go receiver, but McMillan, Golden off the board, Abuka, and Burden, the next two guys are off the board. So I think receivers out of the play here, Lance. Would you agree?
Now, Elick Ayo-Manor from Stanford absolutely torched Syracuse this year when I watched that game. And I thought, man, he's going to be pretty good, but I just don't see him here at 30. So
let's look at the edge room quickly. Anybody here? I don't think Landon Jackson really warrants here. I don't. I think he's too much of an upside. Get him
at the next one.
No one else in the edge room. We're going to go to the D tackle room. So a couple of D tackles that are off the board that are names is Mason Graham, obviously, Kenneth Grant, and Walter Nolan. So we have 3 D tackles off the board, right? We're going to go to the D tackle room for the Bills. I don't think Omar Norman Watt is a first-round pick. I don't think Tyler Williams is a first-round pick. The only guy would be Derek Harmon. Would you agree, Lance? Would you disagree? Let me know what you thought of the D tackle room at the moment, or the board of the D tackle room.
Yeah, I think Harmon is probably the guy in here. I know they really like Tyleik Williams, so they may just grab him now. Definitely could be a spot where they wait and try to get him, but the way he's going to go, we talked about this off the show, I think he's going to go in that weird spot where they don't pick yet. And if they want their guy, if Tyleik's their guy, I think they're going to go and grab him here.
Do you like Derek Harmon?
Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike him. I just, it's one of those guys where,
you think there's a
lot
of guys
free technique. I mean, can he really? He fits the Bills scheme very well. So, a lot of fans, and I don't disagree necessarily that wouldn't mind a true run stuffer, that Kenneth Grant mold, but here Harmon would be a good fit for sure.
Cornerback would be the other thing. No Maxwell Harrison, no Will Johnson. Obviously, Jedi Barron's off the board as well. Amos, Benjamin Morrison. I don't think Siobhan Ravel could be in play. He could be, but he would have to come back. He's coming back off an injury. Like, how much does he play? He's year 1, but they do have Trey White. They do have Dane Jackson. Maybe that allows for them to ease back him. Porter, Thomas are day 2 picks. Do you like Amos? Do you like Morrison? What are your thoughts on this?
I like Amos. I really like Benjamin Morrison at 56. I don't like him at 30. But if they can get him at 56, that'd be awesome.
So I think I'm between Amos and between Derek Harmon.
I think you got to go Harmon, in my opinion.
I think we're going to go Harmon based off how the cornerback room has kind of fallen. And they've added Dane Jackson and Trey White to raise the floor of that cornerback room where they could wait till day 2. A lot of drafts will have Amos. I don't disagree with Amos. If Amos was the pick here, I would be okay with it, and I would move on. I would be happy. I'd be okay with it. I think they need that 3-tech D tackle. Wish Kenneth Grant got here. Walter Nolan really doesn't fit that, Lance. You know what I mean? He's kind of like an in-betweener there. So he doesn't really fit for me. But he could. Like, he doesn't fit a full need, but I would be okay
Right.
with Walter Nolan. He's off the board. I think it's Derek Harmon. I'm going to preface this. If it was Trey Amos, I would be totally okay with it. I flip a coin between Amos and Harmon there. We're going to go Harmon. Lance, your favorite team's up. What do we got?
Yeah, I think they're gonna want a defensive lineman there as well that didn't get there. So I'm gonna take Gray Zabel from North Dakota State here.
Offensive lineman, you mean?
Yeah, well, I think they would have liked Harmon
Oh,
there.
you're saying they would have liked off. Okay.
Yep. Or if one of the other guys or Walter Nolan, but
You're going to go Gray
without those
Zabel?
guys going, I'm gonna go Gray Zabel. Yep.
Bang. Okay, final draft. If you guys have not liked or commented on this episode, please do down below. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. This is one of the more fun episodes we do. Eagles. Don't know why wide receivers really a need with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, I feel like if you need a third receiver, you can just wait until like day 2 or maybe early day 3. That's just my, unless they're looking to move a receiver. But that's a draft day trade that shakes everything up. Guard, I think the only one would be Booker. I don't know if they really want to go Booker here. They could go edge. They could go corner. Let me look at the cornerback room. You know what? I think they go corner. I don't know what the hell they're doing here. I couldn't freaking tell you. No idea what they're doing here. What's the edge room look like here?
You don't want to take Trey Amos off the board for the Bills though in the second round. That's why you're
He's not.
hesitating.
The problem is he's not getting to 56 Trey Amos,
Right.
in my opinion. I don't think.
Well, I think they can come up too though
Oh, what I just
with
do.
the 2 second-round
They're
picks.
not. What would you do here, Lance? Because I'm in between here. What would you do? I'm gonna bounce off you and see if you give me an inspiration.
Yeah, let's check. I mean, Landon Jackson's pretty good, but I know it's a bit of a reach at this
I
point.
think they're at a reach
Um,
part here of the draft.
It's really going to be like in real life, if they're at this point and this is the way the board goes for them, they're probably fielding calls for people who want Dart,
Jackson Dart, yeah.
you know?
Or if
Um,
Shador got here.
right. So, I don't know. Where's Dallas Goddard in his contract? Because you can get Colston Loveland here for them if they really want another
A weapon.
pass catcher. But
The edge room just doesn't excite me here at all.
no,
With Landon Jackson, I'm gonna go corner, Lance.
yeah,
But I'm not gonna
definitely.
go Trey Amos. I'm gonna go Siobhan Ravel.
Okay.
I think their secondary is good enough where they can kind of wait, see here. I think they're gonna go corner, Siobhan Ravel. So that is gonna be our draft right there. But Lance, they're grading our draft. I don't really care what you grade it. Just got to save the image later. There's no grades. Anything stand out for you here, people? Or Lance, anything really stand out for you here in this draft as I'm scrolling through? I can't make this full page,
Yeah, I
but
think the biggest thing is just like there has been really no movement with teams as of
no
this
one's moved. Yeah.
podcast, and I think there's going to be movement. So this thing's going to get all jumbled up,
Oh, 100%.
and I think some of these guys are about where they're going to get drafted. I think you may see them get drafted in some of the number. Like if you just take the team away and look at the number
Yeah.
that they were drafted at, that may be more accurate than the team that drafted them in this exercise. Just with going through it.
I think we did a pretty good job with our range of players.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think like Shador fell a little, but that's just based off us passing on him at 9. Like Will Johnson fell, but I think Will Johnson has a chance to fall in this draft. I really, or someone just takes him at 15 or something like that.
Mhm.
But no, a lot of corners went off the board. We had Ravel, we have Harrison, we have Will Johnson, Burden. 4 receivers go off the board. I know people have talked about Burden not being in there. I think Luther Burden's 100% a first round pick. He deserves to be a first round pick, and I have him going 22 to the Chargers. But let us know down in the comment section below. If you guys follow us on social media, like I said earlier, Talking Sports PD. You guys will see this mock draft on the day of the NFL draft. You'll see this podcast a couple of days before. It comes out Monday, April 21st. Lance, plug your social media. Once again, I appreciate you coming on, but plug anything Built in Buffalo, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, you can follow me at Lance Nelson BIB on X. I don't know what other social medias you want to use. I don't post on IG all that much, but there, same handle. Built in Buffalo is at Built in Buffalo _ on X. Find us, go to search Built in Buffalo on YouTube, find our channel there. Just a lot of great content, guys. We're going to be live, and Peter's going to be on draft night. So the triple coverage podcast is live every Thursday at 7 p.m. With myself, Scott Casson, and Benjamin Shoup. So we'll be live pre-draft to get everyone ready for what we're hearing, and then we'll the Built in Buffalo live draft will kick in there on Thursday at 8, and we'll go through the whole first round and see where we land. Hopefully, last year we got all the way to the end, and the Bills didn't even make a pick in the first round. So hopefully that changes this year, and we can. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I guess. What do you think, real quick, on whether the Bills would trade back again this year?
Oh, 100%. Not saying 100% is going to happen, but if yeah, I think that's a realistic possibility. I really do. Unless like Kenneth Grant gets to 30 or some corner they really like gets to 30 or Birding or Buka, whatever, right? I
Right.
do think there's that chance where they can go back into the 30s and pick, maybe add an extra third rounder, which not an extra. They don't have a third rounder. They have 2 seconds, 1 first and 2 seconds. Maybe try to get a late day 2 pick, another day 2 pick, and I think 4 picks on day 2 might be more valuable than the 30th pick.
Yeah, I
So
think they
they
would
might be
probably.
between 5 guys, Lance, at 30 when 30 comes around, and they're like, "Well, we're in between 5 guys. Can we get that guy at 34 or
Right.
35?" And you're probably like, "Yeah, because one team's trading it for a quarterback. This team needs a tackle, whatever, right? And we don't need that." I think the Bills can 100% move back. But yeah, Lance, appreciate you coming on. I completely forgot I'm going. Not like it's on my schedule, but I mentally forgot that I'm going on that draft show on Thursday night. So guys, make sure you guys check that out. I'll retweet it on my social media as always. So if you guys follow me at DiBiasi Peter, you guys can check that out. Great draft coverage. But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out any of our recent draft interviews with 3 amazing prospects that are going to be in this upcoming 2025 NFL draft, check that out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to this podcast. All those links are in the description. Like I said, follow us on social media at Talking Sports PD. Follow Lance on social media and follow everything Built in Buffalo on social media. All that stuff will be in the description. And as always, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use code TSB for 100% deposit match up to $100. That is going to do it for us. You'll see this draft posted on Thursday. You'll see the episode posted a couple days before. Check out all the recent stuff. Lance, once again, I appreciate you coming on, my man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Guys, subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.